Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and today I'm going to be taking another look at Japan's real Transformer, aka the RX-78F00 Gundam, which is that big old 1:1 scale one in Yokohama. And you might be like, didn't we see this already? And the answer is, well, kind of, yes. That was the 1/44 scale variant. This one right here is the 1/100, so it is around the size of a master grade, but this thing right here is more akin to a reborn 100. As to where you can get this, usually, you can get this right at the 1/1 scale Gundam itself at the Gundam Factory Yokohama, but if you're like me and you can't fly all the way to Japan to get one of your own, you can get yours through Bai. As usual, a link is down there in the description, and here we go. So anyway, there is the 1/100 scale RX-78F00 out of the box and snapped together with a little bit of extra effort, and as usual, that bit of extra effort is just a little bit of panel lining and a couple of the stickers. And the first question I'm going to answer right here straight away is, and it may be the one you're thinking, why bother buying this particular RX-78 when Bandai released a literal shit ton this year? And that's not including all the other countless RX-78s that came out over the last few years. There is a lot to choose from. Well, there really is one simple answer, and that is, this technically is just meant to be a memento. If you head and go see that 1/1 scale Gundam in person, this is a great thing to just pick up, bring home, and cement those memories forever. But besides that obvious point, is there any reason to pick this one up here at all compared to the rest? And there is one reason, and one reason only, I feel. This is the only reborn 100 RX-78 in existence, so that makes it kind of unique, and if you're a collector like me, makes it kind of irresistible in a way. Which is kind of silly in a way, because in general, I tend to dislike reborn 100 kits, for the main reason the polycaps that build them up just aren't that great. I like my kits solid as a rock. This is anything but. So a smaller, standard MS like this holds up a lot better than something like the reborn 100 Hama Hama, or the reborn 100 gun cannon detector. So anyway, right off the bat there it is side by side with the 1/44 scale version. Both of these are actually pretty good model kits. I did do a lot more pan lining on this than this, mainly because this was a bit of an impromptu review, but I kind of expected this kit right here would have come with a lot of stickers. However, I will mention I thought there'd be something a little different in regard to color with this kit. As you probably know already, this variant of the RX-78 has two tones for each color. So like the image you're seeing right now, the blue is broken down into two colors, or should I say, two variants of the one color. Same with the red, the white, the yellow, etc. to kind of give it a bit more of a multifaceted look. That is not reflected in the model kit right here, as you can see. Just like the 1/44 scale one, it's all in one tone of each color. So I expected one hell of a mess of stickers with this kit, which we did get, but it's not exactly in the way that I thought it would be. So this sheet of stickers right here, this is only for the gray parts on the white. There is no way in hell I'm going to attach all of these because they will not look good, but it's kind of odd that they only included stickers to make the gray parts on the white, no stickers for the darker yellow, the darker red, or the lighter blue. Strange. As for these, I only use the reflective green and red that you can see right here on the shoulders and the knees. And we do also get some sticker style decals in here, and all I used on this was the ones for on the shoulders, which do look pretty cool. So anyway, there's a full spin of what this kit looks like, just out of the box, snapped together with no effort whatsoever. So that is no panel lining, no stickers, no nothing. I will mention the eyes and the face, all of that is color separate out of the box, which is fantastic. There is meant to be a sticker for between the eyes because it's meant to be white between its eyes. I didn't bother. But there is the full spin of what it looked like with a little bit of extra effort. So what I did here was panel lining, stuck on a couple of the reflective green and red stickers, and the decals on the shoulders. That is it. I also did cut off these safety knobs up on the V-fin, but I will mention about this kit, be very careful. While taking its head off to cut off the safety knobs up there on the V-fin, its head flew off and just bounced off the box, just the box, nothing hard, and they shattered, absolutely shattered. This kit has some brittle plastic, so be warned. This is a very delicate kit right here. I did glue them back on, they look okay, it was a quick job, but be very careful. So now moving on to the accessories, and here is the 1/100 scale Gundam RX-7800 with absolutely everything that it comes with. So this is your standard RX-78 loadout right here. So that of course is the standard beam rifle, the shield that has been slightly redesigned for this version, a pair of beam sabers, two widespread hands, two holding hands, and one beam rifle holding hand, and finally then a base adapter. Well, wait a minute. I put this to the side earlier on and nearly totally forgot about it. It has a full stand, and this section here is replicating what you'll see in Japan. This action base adapter is for if you want to use it with a standard action base. So first up, as for the alternate hands, we've got this pair of jazz hands right here. Always nice to see an alternate set of hands. Next up then, here's a generic pair of holding hands. These can of course be used with the beam sabers. The beam sabers in here, just like we saw with the 1/44th scale version, these are extremely nice because these are two-tone. That is white for the lower section and a dark grey for the upper section, so that's pretty cool. There's a quick example of what they look like equipped, and as usual when they're not in use, just pop out the beams, stick them up there in the backpack, and that right there is what they look like stored away. Next up then in here is the beam rifle. This is actually a pretty nice looking beam rifle. We do have a right hand holding hand for using with this. This handle slots into the hand perfectly, so this is one secure, rock solid hold right here. It attaches via a ball joint like the rest of the hands. And once again, this is a very nice looking beam rifle. It's nicely detailed. We've got a yellow segment for the side up front. And does the 1:1 scale moving statue have one of these yet? Does it have a beam rifle? Is it getting a beam rifle? Either way, I hope it does. Also side-to-side moving handle up front, as you'd expect. Next up then in here we've got the shield, just like your regular RX-78-2 shield, but with a lot of subtle differences. We've got some notches up the side, ridiculous amounts of panel lining. Around on the rear side, this is a little bit on the plain side. It is just all in white, which is the reverse section of the white we see up front. The handle segment is in dark grey. As for any moving mechanisms we have on this, we've got a transfer out parts swapping up and down instead of a slide mechanism here for the lower and upper grip positions. The handle itself, that can rotate like so. This can attach onto either or arm by popping out this segment and then just popping this peg into that hole like so. You can also pop the handle into the hand, but this is a secure connection whether or not you do that. So as for the accessories in here, there is no real surprises, but everything is done very nicely. For what is essentially a no grade 1/100, everything in here is very nicely executed. So the last accessory we have in here is the stand. The bottom is pretty plain, the upper section right here, as far as I know, is a scale replica of what exists on the 1:1 statue in Japan. And this does have a couple of awesome little gimmicks. Attaching the Gundam is pretty simple. First you just pop this part off to reveal the butt crack. Then you just slide this little segment here up its butt crack like so, and it's locked into place. We also have some storage points for the equipment. The shield can just slot onto this segment up here, and the beam rifle can just attach onto this little segment here like so. The bottom then has some storage, which is absolutely awesome. So you can store the not used hands on here like this, like that, and we also have a position for the butt crack cover. This one up here is for if you remove one of the parts of the arm for the shield, and you could store the other hands in here as well, but I'm going to hold on to these for one main reason, and that is because there is nowhere to store the beam sabers. Considering it's long enough, you'd think they would have made something. That's real lame. I'm sure you could modify it yourself to keep them in there when they're not in use. But it seems like the only way to store everything on this model kit at the one time is by having it hold onto the beam sabers like this. And forgot you can actually store the base adapter down under here as well. How cool is that? Too bad about the beam sabers though. So now moving on to the articulation, and first I will mention the build. As I've said already, this is made out of those Reborn 100 polycaps. These things I really do not like. These are the most one-size-fits-all style polycaps. Well, I suppose the high-grade ones are as well, but these ones, they just don't tend to work. This thing is wiggly, and when Reborns get any bigger than this, they tend to not even stand up. As for the neck, this is not a polycap, this is plastic on plastic. Giggity goo. The bottom's just a hinge that moves back the way. We've got a ball joint up top. I need to be careful of those V-fins. Spin the head all the way around. Did I say V-fins like plural? Inside the shoulder, this also is not polycap, so this is a very nice joint. So this is aligned to move to the front like so that's what we get right there. A little bit. There is the arm all the way up. It gets a little bit blocked by this little black circular disc segment. This kit has a pretty cool gimmick, which is this opening flap on the front, which allows the arm to raise up even more, kind of, not really. Oh yeah, it totally does. That's pretty handy, that little bit of a door segment. That's cool. Just like with the last version of this kit that we saw, the upper arm spin is just above the elbow, which is probably the same on the actual statue. We've got a 2-point bend at the elbow. It doesn't get us a whole lot, but this once again is quite interesting because the lower bend is actually down in here, so that is pretty cool. Still, you don't get a whole lot out of that. The waist is just a old school peg. It's not great. While building the body unit, it did make it look like there would be a whole bunch of different moving parts in here, but all we get in the end is this right here, this very weak, springy, next to nothing really. Hey, but we've got that full rotation on that peg. Down to its diaper, these are ball joints. I will mention that they are dark plastic on the inside, which makes it look much more premium. Very, very nice. These side skirts are just ball and sockets, so they do what you'd expect from a ball and socket, which is mainly just rotate around like so. Believe it or not, this kit is rocking a double premium butt flap. Those do not have the nice gray segments underneath, but they still look pretty cool. Inside the hip, we do have a dropping waist mechanism. Very nice. And as for those kicks, there it is all the way up to the front end. That's impressive. There it is all the way out to the back, kind of blocked on itself there. And finally, as for all the way out, wow. Whoa. Hold on, let's try and bring those down. Oh, gotta drop those hips first. And we get a fairly decent split. Full spin right here at the upper leg. And honestly, who misses this gimmick? That sliding leg armor. This time it is the bottom, not the top. But I miss that. That used to be on older master grades, and it's such a cool premium feature to have a moving bit of armor. That looks great. For a Reborn 100 style kit, I am impressed. Bandai, bring back the slide. As for the knee bend we get with that, it's pretty good. At the ankle down, we've got a rocking forward and back motion. And down at the foot, we've got a side to side pivot. As for what we get on the ground without lifting that foot, there it is all the way to the front, so that's mediocre. There it is all the way to the back. That is pretty good. Actually, that's really good. And as for that side to side, that's a bit meh really. So in the end, the articulation on this kit is actually above average and more impressive than I expected from a kit like this. However, I will mention it does feel extremely spongy because of the polycaps, and sometimes you may lose the pose you put it in a little bit. But on the whole, I'm definitely impressed. It for the review, and what can I say? This is actually a better kit than expected. Of course, when you have to go through middlemen and middleman prices, etc., it may end up on a bit of a more expensive than it's worth situation. So I say, if you actually do go to the 1/1 scale Gundam in Japan, I say grab one of these. Grab the high grade too. They're still very nice kits, even though they're not high grades and master grades. If you're a collector of all things Gundam, especially all things RX-78-2 and its ilk, then I say go for it as well. But if you were just a little bit curious, actually, even if you are just a little bit curious, I say go for it as well. It's a pretty cool little kit if you like this style of big but kind of high grade. The exterior detail's pretty cool, and it's nice to have a little real transformer of your own. Oh yeah, and as for that ranking, seeing as this is pretty much built with the RE100 joints, I'm going to rank this as if it was a Reborn 100 kit. So I definitely put it up there with the GP04G Gerbera. So that makes this right here gold tier. It's definitely no Zaku Kai. Anyway, if you do want one of your own, there's a link down there in the description. And as always, make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews. I'll see you next time. Once again, I cannot finish this video right here without thanking each and every one of you guys. Whether you just watch my videos, like them, or support the channel on the channel memberships and over on Patreon. Like Craig Jerry, Greg Humphrey, Kaiser721, Tyler Sanders, Caleb Engelhardt, Sean T, and the ambassador for Asymmetric Cat.